The Forever Purge was directed by Everardo Gout and released on July 2nd, 2021. This film represents certain sociocultures and political views. It is based on the Texas border and begins the film with a couple escaping Mexico. During their stay in Texas, primarily white men wanted nothing to do with Mexicans. One of the main characters, Dylan, stated that there is no Spanish speaking allowed in his house. This film portrays numerous themes following racism and political power. During the time of this film, there were many controversial debates regarding politics and the war between political parties. As shown, there are statements made saying this is the way to keep America great and to fully purify the nation. Others that do not wish to believe in this purification will become victims of this never-ending purge. This movie is considered a horror film for many reasons. Some aspects that stood out, other than the obvious murders and gore, was the dark lighting and other mysterious moments that can be predicted for typical horror films. The scariest part of the film was the potential reality behind it. Many people would think a horror movie is scary because of the acting, but for this film, it can be horrific to think that it is decently capable of happening. Current political fights have already occurred, and there are similar battles every day regarding immigrants versus white supremacists. This is commonly seen throughout the entire film, but there's a slight plot twist when both Juan and Dylan's family come together and fight as a team to escape back to Mexico, which later becomes the safest place. At the ending of the film, you can see the Mexico border. One side, everything is normal and civilized, and the American side, everything is burned to the ground. In the beginning of the film, there is a question. Does everyone want to kill each other just because the media says they are bad? I believe this can be very accurate, as the media plays a large role in assisting people from their opinions. It is ironic later in the film when the news reporter gets killed on live television. This film is trying to send the message of what a proud American is, which leads to cleansing America and purifying the nation. A Texan had stated that the Americans tend to burn their cities to the ground, and that is exactly what happens throughout the process. In the film, a man stated he always taught his children to be proud Americans, but no one truly understood what that fully meant. Following the themes of monsters and horror, it can be inferred that the Americans themselves are the monsters. Particularly white individuals that held high political power and a larger income were able to keep this purge alive. There are many other themes and symbols that can be seen in this film. The one that stood out the most was the roses. As the couples were escaping Mexico, they were told to follow the roses. Then, at the end of the movie, they knew to follow that same symbol back into Mexico, where there would be help and safety. This movie opened eyes for this new idea because it is commonly heard of that people try to sneak into America. But this film shows the opposite perspective and the outcomes if things happen differently in the US. The idea for purging for national purification is scary in itself, and many people in real life support the fictional events of the film. There are also the typical ideas portrayed regarding Indians and cowboys. This began in the beginning of the film, where Juan proved to be a better cowboy than Dylan. The representation of guns and violence is present throughout the entire movie. The urge for this is seen especially with a sign stating 40% off weapons. Multiple times, people had also asked Adela how she became so experienced with guns and fighting. This can imply a gender gap, with the assumption that women aren't as capable as men when it comes to fighting and using weapons. Overall, this film is a horror film. for both traditional reasons and for the terrifying thought of this actually occurring in real life. Many political, religious, and racial themes are presented, as well as certain standards are broken in the film. An example of that was Dylan stating that it is okay for each culture to have their own, but it is not okay to bring them together. And in the end, they do come together. This film represents the scary idea of a proud American cleansing their country, purifying the nation. But in reality, America is becoming farther from pure while it is burning to the ground. Thank you.